All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping into it as we spawn down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map on top of the purple Protoss player representing Team Flipside Tactics. Give it up for puCK.
And a teammate of his also representing Flipside Tactics. Give it up for our red Zerg player, JonSnow.
You know what? So one thing I want to talk about is the fact that I'm really just happy puCK is participating in this, because he recently had a tweet out where he was saying, you know, he kind of wanted to take a break, not necessarily from StarCraft. He wanted to take a break from competition. He said that he was really not feeling like, and he is one of these players that really says he struggles with showing his best performance in tournaments. I know a lot of people do that, but especially puCK. He never feels like he's really playing. So he was saying he wanted to take a break from playing in tournaments. He just wanted to play on the Korean ladder because that's what he was enjoying. Looks like we're gonna pause. Okay. JonSnow got to get his pizza.
Door. Oh,
yeah.
Papa JonSnow getting that.
Papa JonSnow. That sounds surprisingly smooth.
It kind of makes me want pizza right now, but
I have a pizza, man. That's what I was eating before this cast.
Really?
Yeah, man. I've been trying not to order food because I spend so much money on food. I sometimes spend a disgusting amount of money on delivery, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get delivery. But after yesterday's cast, I was just like, you know what? I earned this. I earned this.
Yeah, my man.
But anyway, sorry. I was talking about
beasted
puCK.
it yesterday, by the way. Like, holy moly.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
He's
I had
like,
a lot of fun with that.
Come on, bro. Like.
Dude, I had a lot of fun with that.
You're like the puCK of casting, where he's like, oh, I just don't do that well in tournaments yet. He plays so well all the time, streams a ton, and has solid play. You know, not real gimmicky, or not many gimmicks. He does have some funny stuff.
Yeah, that's what I love about puCK, right? Like, he might do like cute tactics and stuff where he'll, for example, he was known for a long time in Heart of the Storm and even a little bit of Wings of Liberty, I think, for like doing Colossus drops with the Warp Prism and doing harassment that way. He does all kinds of really cool Warp Prism harassment with, I think, Disruptors now also. Oh my god, just puCK does love his Disruptors. But the thing is, why is Scarlet saying rude? Are Scarlet and Zombie Grub getting into a fight in the chat? I think
that Zombie Grub and Scarlet are going at each other right now.
Oh my god.
They're like rap battling in the chat. Zombie Grub just spit some hot fire and Scarlet was like, oh.
But yeah, we were talking about puCK, and I really do feel like he is one of those players who I think he'll benefit from not playing in quite as many events, but just eventually preparing himself for one event and being able to show one good showing, he'll feel much better. Like that's the way that he enjoys playing StarCraft. He just enjoys doing that grind on the Korean ladder, even if he is sitting in like 300 ping, which, by the way, I think he said before, playing in North America feels weird to him because he doesn't have lag, and that throws him off because he normally plays in Korea.
He's got that SEA syndrome. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, we always play to NA, and it's really bad lag because nobody else plays on our server. But
I can't deal with my units being this responsive. It's throwing me off. My micro is all off. That can legitimately throw people off.
No, I 100% agree. There was a 3 hats before pool here from JonSnow, by the way, and he's getting it with the gas, and I've noticed that he does this a lot. I've realized that people like Snoot will go for it with no gas, and they'll delay it for a very long time and then take 2 gas later on. But JonSnow, he likes to get his gas, get the speed up, and then maybe go into overload drops, maybe go into roaches relatively early. But yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense coming from JonSnow. Just talking a bit about JonSnow, because we talked about puCK and how he likes to play. Very standard, non-gimmicky play. Maybe mixes in a few cool tactics, but it's not like he's relying heavily on this random gimmick working to win the game.
Exactly.
JonSnow, he is a very aggressive Zerg player. He loves being aggressive. He hates being on the defensive, I think. And he's a player that also, he's much more comfortable staying or finishing up on a much lower drone count than most other Zerg players. He's okay with 48 to like maybe 50-ish drones.
Yeah, when we casted the best of 69 between him and Pili, he probably had an average drone count of about like 44.
Yeah, and
So-
big shout out to TimPack in the chat. Thank you so much for subscribing. But yeah,
Oh, there was also Alba, I believe, that donated or something, and she was wondering.
yeah,
But
I
had
do
to
not
shout
have
out
Twitch
Alba
alerts.
Toss.
Thank you so much, Albatos. We
Shout
don't
out,
have Twitch
Alba.
alerts. We don't have Twitch alerts set up right now, so I don't have the notifications, or like I can't see those messages right now. I'll try and get it set up again between the games and everything, but I think it's a little bit of a complicated setup, so I may just be pulling it up and reading out donations as I see them instead.
Yeah. Just wanted to give that shout out because Alba's a really good friend of mine too.
But
So-
really cool over here. I love to see more Protoss players doing what puCK did. He did that harassment with the Adept. He moved in. He got a nice scout off on kind of what was going on. He got to see the third expansion and everything. And then just backed out with the Adept. He didn't just sacrifice it. He left with it and kept it alive.
Yeah. I mean, it's very important to keep it alive, especially if you're going to be making more than one. You know, you get to that really heavy Oracle count, or rather, I'm talking about Oracles, not rather Adepts, but he's pooling his Oracles right now. You know,
Oh. That is...
a little bit of some Chinese or Taiwanese inspired play here.
That is
I know
really
Mystery
interesting.
likes to do that.
How many oracles does it take to kill a spore crawler without losing an oracle? I think it's 4.
I'm not sure the exact number. I have to get Jack Attack in here.
Yeah, man. Where's Jack Attack? That's not my realm. That's not a useless fact. That's a really useful fact.
He's like, this is my direct competition, man. He's all giving us knowledge and stuff, and I'm trying to.
No, man. We've distributed the knowledge base. He handles the useful ones. I handle the useless ones. Well, oracles. I mean, they accomplish a little bit of damage. They get 2 kills, but not a whole lot, which is kind of unfortunate, I think, for
For
puCK.
2 Oracles, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps both of them alive, which is important. That's good. But I think when you go for the 2 oracles like that and you pull them up and everything, you do want to accomplish a little bit more damage than that. And I guess they still have the opportunity to make something happen later.
The counter pause, Fear Dragon. He said, you pause at the beginning. I'm going to pause right now.
Pause, please. I don't have enough lag. I need to, like, unplug and reconnect my Ethernet.
And then let me go download.
Hold on, I need to start up a BitTorrent download. I need to slow down my internet so I can match my Korea ping. Wouldn't that be the greatest if you could just do that?
Like, simulate. I don't know. Yeah, simulate the ping by just not the right amount of downloads, but, you know, you have to kind of balance it at a certain point because you don't want it to be too much where it is not responsive at all.
Yeah.
But, damn. I don't know.
Well, that's what capping your download speed is for, Tempo. But Robotics Bay on the way for...
Or you could do that.
Yeah, Robotics Bay on the way for puCK, though. He is going to be moving to those disruptors, which very few people are surprised by that, seeing puCK go for disruptors, because puCK, again, I was saying this before, puCK loves its disruptors. He is one of the Protoss players that even when Charge-Led Archon was a really popular style, he was one of the few Protoss players that would still continue to go for a lot of the Blink Stalker plus disruptor play.
Yeah. And he's very good at controlling it. He's always been a big Blink Stalker kind of player. And then you add the disruptors into it, and now you have AoE finally with the unit composition, whereas before it was all about the micro and kind of out positioning if you could. But the fact that the disruptor comes into play makes it a little bit harder to control, but I think that is puCK's expertise here when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with saying that his control for disruptors is one of his big expertise. But we do have a Spire on the way. Now, puCK is starting... Well, he's continuing this War Prism harassment and everything. He's going to spot the Spire. That's a really important find. And he's already, before he even spotted that Spire, I think, started up some of those Phoenix from the Stargate.
And he's adding another Stargate, and he's going to be well prepared for these mutas, at least because he does have Blink on the way, too. So at least the path that he's going is going to kind of play into what JonSnow is doing for his advantage, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Hygel's also coming out right now for JonSnow, and he's not making any Mutalists, which I find both really cool but also really infuriating as a Protoss player, because one of the scariest things you can face off against is a Zerg player who throws down the Spire but just doesn't make Mutalists. It's like a big fake out. You end up really starting to fret. You throw down additional Stargates, you start pumping out, chrono boosting out those Phoenixes, you get +1 air weapons, and then there's just no mutas.
There's like not even one. He cancels the Spire at the last minute, or like floods with a bunch of Hydras, which is what looks like JonSnow wants to do. I remember people used to do that a bit too. Like they would show the Spire
Oracles.
and then make a bunch of Hydras instead.
Well, puCK keeps one of the Oracles alive. Disruptor in the mix, looking for an opportunity to maybe throw down a Disruptor shot, but there's no, the wall is completely sealed off right now. Finally, he's actually trying to use the Disruptor to get some shots off on the Zerglings, but doesn't look like he's going for it right now.
Nope, he is going to be just waiting, maybe waiting for that nice shot that he would look for, but he's not really reacting at all. Like, I don't know what puCK is actually doing. Do you think he's AFK? Or he's just waiting for the attack?
He's got over 300 APM. He's definitely reacting to it now. Fortune Overcharge is in the main base. Gonna be able to clean up those Zerglings. I mean, he doesn't actually take substantial losses over there. I don't know if he was just waiting for maybe the Hydralisk to come up. He didn't want to waste the shots on the Zerglings.
But that was a good defense regardless, so
yeah.
Sorry if I kind of like freaked out there. I was like looking at it like, the Lings are going to do a lot of damage, but Photon Overcharge is pretty good here.
Here come the Mutas, though. The Mutas actually clean up the Warp Prism. They clean up, the Adepts also get cleaned up. And there are only 2 Phoenix out on the map right now. 3rd and 4th and 5th and Phoenixes are going to be popping out in a second. And they should be enough to chase back these Mutalisks.
Yeah, puCK is doing this really well. He's at a really comfortable worker count. It's just going to be about taking that 4th, or if he decides to try to kill JonSnow, who invested in the Mutas and they, once again, didn't do too much.
Oh man, Mutas coming in from the 3rd expansion. Phoenixes are going to be there to green him. At the same time, puCK is trying to deal with the attack at the natural. It looks like all the Mutas are going to end up dying over here, though.
Uh-oh. Looks like it is going to be an investment that is not going to get anything done. And the cool part is that the Phoenixes can actually lift up Lurkers. They can lift up the Hydras that are in the fight. So the follow-up push out of puCK, depending on if he goes for it, could be pretty devastating. The fact that he has the Phoenixes in the air now. Good scouting. Oh, the Overlord. Hang out.
Yeah, they are secured by one of those Spore Crawlers, but if that Phoenix count starts to grow any further, as puCK is still continuing to produce those Phoenixes, he will be able to start potentially picking away at some of those guys. But as you were saying, I think the big thing about those Phoenixes is the fact that they can pick up those Lurkers. They can still be rather effective against the Lurker composition. So it's really going to be...
The Lurker Den is not done.
It's not done yet.
This is such an awkward position.
puCK is going to be pushing in before the Lurkers are even able to be morphed in. HiveTech is also on the way. Pathogen Glands. JonSnow is just going for everything right now. I don't think he has time for it.
He doesn't, but he's going to get a nice surround. He's set up a trap here for puCK, and he does not have a Mothership Core. Blink is going to at least negate the surround for momentarily, but here come the Phoenixes lifting up some of the Ravagers, the Roaches, and even one of his own Stalkers because F it, right? Why not? He has good upgrades, I believe. Does he have +2? Oh, he had +1. I thought he had +2. It's not done yet.
Yeah, a lot of drones being pulled off the line over here as well, but, I mean, he manages to hold on and scare puCK off. puCK ends up losing all those very expensive disruptors, and JonSnow's bought himself enough time. Now he can start making those Lurkers. His HiveTech is finished up, and he's even got a new base to boot.
Yeah, boot time to get that base, eh? But he goes ahead and is also, remember that, yeah, he takes the 4th base on the bottom right, but JonSnow is expanding himself. And he needs the time in order to get those Lurkers out, because that is the unit comp that puCK is going to be going for, the ground army. He got +1 air, but he's not like investing in, say, carriers or Tempest to pick off those Lurkers later on in the game. I don't even believe he has a fleet beacon yet.
Oh. All right. Another disruptor going to go down to these Zerglings. Losing these disruptors repeatedly really is painful, because puCK keeps trying to remake them, and he doesn't know that the Ultralisk Cavern is the next thing on the way for JonSnow. And yeah, you know what? A lot of Pro players have not found that dealing with Ultras is the most difficult thing, but that's because most Protoss players have been going for a very, very Immortal heavy composition. It's become like one of the big standards for PvZ. puCK has not got a single Immortal. He hasn't made a single Immortal this game.
And he's trying to add on another Robo, getting the Dark Shrine not only to get some harass as these bases start to get a lot more spread out, but he's also going to be able to make Archons with them. Another key, I would say, to that unit comp that does have the Immortals, the Zealots that have charged later on, and then like really heavily upgraded. I think that's a thing that you need to note too. The upgrades for Protoss, keeping up on them is very important, I would say.
Yeah. This next engagement is going to be really, really critical, I think, for both of these players, where the Ultras are going to be popping out. Phoenixes still have not scouted anything of the Ultralist. They do scout out this top right-hand base, and maybe puCK is sort of starting to think to himself, like, okay, my opponent's really starting to get to the late game. Do I need to start preparing for something else? Like, do I need to start thinking about other things? Like, even mixing in Archons, I think, would be a good call after he, like, starts to do the DT harassment, but...
Sure.
Oh. I don't know. I really just feel like puCK's army isn't...
Yeah.
It's not the quality army that you would expect he would need at this stage in the game.
No, it does not have enough Immortals in it. I feel like maybe the Stalkers could be in too high of a number when you're going to be dealing with Lurkers. So...
Yeah.
I wonder what he can do with the Stalkers, like, now. Maybe keep on clearing the creep and then find one opportunity to pounce on the Lurkers before they do end up burrowing. Yeah, I don't really like... Oh, wow.
That new base.
He's taking at the base. Fear Dragon, it's going to go down. There's no Overseer here.
Yeah, Overseer's not even close. There is a Zergling run by over at puCK's 4th expansion, but it looks like a majority of these Zerglings will get cleaned up. They killed off a decent chunk of the probes over there, but these CTs they're starting to work away at some of these units now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there hasn't been an Overseer to join. Now it comes over. And the DTs could scout the Ultras, and I think that means double Immortal production is in store, as we do see it here for puCK, which will help him deal with the Lurkers, but also, yeah, or rather the Ultras.
Yeah, we're getting to that very weird stage where JonSnow is maxed out. He's probably going to be looking for that engagement right now. puCK is still trying to get his last couple of Immortals. I would say his Immortal count is really not that impressive just yet, though. He's only got 2 Immortals, going to be going up to 3 and 4 very soon, mixing in a couple of Archons. The fact that JonSnow is not jumping in right now is actually going to be a bit costly, as it's going to give puCK the time he needs to get up those extra key critical units.
Yeah, but here comes the Zerg Force. Good disruptive shots.
Oh my god.
Only a few Hydras. That was 2, by the way, not 1. Lurkers are still going to survive. Where is the detection for puCK? I don't know if he actually has standing detection aside from that revelation. This is an overwhelming force out of JonSnow. Maybe some DT weapons would be in store. I
think it's starting to get cleaned up, though. I mean, the Ultralists really struggle to get a lot of big surface area on. The fungal growths are okay, but now we end up seeing the Phoenixes coming in, picking up all of these infestors, even with another couple of fungal growths going down. puCK is going to be able to clean up so much of the expensive units in JonSnow's army.
Oh my, he is going to be able to take out those infestors. The creep spread isn't even that crazy yet, so it's not like he has that vision seeing it here, and he also doesn't have that advantage with these melee units, but that was a really good hold from puCK, by the way, you know. The DTs came into play a little bit after, but they did it. They ended up forcing JonSnow to go back, and the Phoenixes will be able to take out Overseers for days, man.
Oh, yeah. They're absolutely going to be shut down. Any kind of map vision that JonSnow is trying to go for. And I love the fact that there's a DT at pretty much every reasonable base that JonSnow could be thinking about taking anytime in the near future. It's just going to make it very difficult for JonSnow to take any new bases. But, oh, JonSnow apparently says, I'm not afraid to expand within one screen of your base.
At this point, he's like, well, I guess I might as well. I believe there are DTs at all of the bases on the right side of the map, rather than the bottom side of it in the middle. But I wonder if he sent over some drones and then kept realizing that they, I guess, just didn't want to make hatcheries, apparently. But it was mainly because there was a DT there to kill it every time.
Man, puCK is doing a great job with these Phoenixes. I want to really commend him on that because it seems like a really small thing, but so many Protoss players, and I mean top-level Protoss players. I've seen Korean Protoss players. They make these Phoenixes, and as they move into the later stages of the game, there'll be that big engagement against the Lurker Hydra army, and they just lose all the Phoenixes. They just, okay.
Like this?
I might have been cursing this. There are a lot more infestors. Oh, no, puCK.
Fungals, tasteless. Oh, my God. All of the Phoenixes are going to go down, Fear Dragon, as you said. Oh, God,
Tempo, wow. The Fear Dragon curse.
You literally just cursed him.
First Demi-Love yesterday, now this.
Wow. That is the funniest thing I've ever
I was straight up about to be like, you know, so many Protoss players lose them, and then they fall a bit susceptible to the Muta transition later on after the Ultralists have died or something like that, and immediately, oh, that's so painful. He was doing a good job with them, too. It wasn't even like he wasn't paying attention to them, so it was actually just a really good catch of the fungal growths from JonSnow.
That is so funny. I mean, obviously not if you are the pilot of the Phoenix there, but not if you're a puCK fan at all. But Now, I wonder why, or I wonder if that would even inspire perhaps like another transition into mutas later on, or do you think it's kind of like, okay, let's stay on the ground here. I have Ultra Tech. My melee upgrades are finally getting up there as well.
You know,
Imagine if he goes into heavy immortal to deal with them, and then now that there are no phoenixes, he could be able to transition into potentially something with mutas. But
I agree.
Archons.
But I think the big thing right now is the fact that JonSnow doesn't have a bank, and nor is he actually that close to being maxed out. So I think this is going to be something that he'll think about much later on. He's only even sitting on 40 workers. He's not mining super effectively. And we have, once again, this DT over here. I think he just killed off another drone that was trying to take a top right expansion.
This is a big deal because the amount of bases that puCK is taking, it's starting to make JonSnow look like he's the one that's playing back and behind, because he's gonna starve out. You mentioned that he did not have a bank, and it's because he can't take the map as freely as he would because of the fact that the DTs keep on denying it.
Oh man, this immortal count has also grown out of control now, as we're sitting up at 9 immortals, a 10th immortal about to pop. Even with these Zerglings doing this nice run by attack and killing off, or at least canceling that Nexus, JonSnow just doesn't seem like he has a transition point because he doesn't have the economy for it. He's getting up a Greater Spire, he's making some Corruptors, so maybe he can make some Broodlords in, but Tempo, he's really going to be relying on this singular engagement as opposed to what I think a lot of Zerg players want to rely on. They want to rely on being able to reproduce their army. Ooh, disruptor shot, not too bad there.
Not bad. It's just that if puCK attacks into that, luckily there's no creep there, but that is, I don't know, man. I
honestly,
feel like he doesn't to attack, but he does want to trade.
I think if puCK attacks into that, he obliterates this. I actually don't think it's going to be very close. I think that JonSnow
just... though, too?
I think even with the Fungals, the pure immortal count, the Archons, they're going to murder everything. Oh, Neural Parasite is a really nice way to do this.
I don't think he knows the hotkey to disrupt.
Oh my god.
He does have the Neural on Immortals as well, and with Fungals coming down, I think it's going to be a close battle, but as soon as this gets cleaned up, that is mainly the attacking force of JonSnow.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna eat a couple of my words here and say that was much closer than I expected, but I will say I was not anticipating the Neural Parasites, and you have to remember, those Immortals, when they get Neural Parasited, they deal a ton of extra damage to pretty much every other Protoss unit except for the Archons and the Zealots. Like, they do massive and massive amounts of damage to all the Stalkers, to other Immortals. That was a really effective tactic, but JonSnow, does he have enough energy? Does he have enough to clean this up? I think he might.
I think so. The Fungals are really coming into play, negating the blink and then forcing those units to kind of stand in a position they don't want to be in. I love the Neural play.
Oh my god.
He's taking the Mother Support. He has the most Imba unit in the game. And now it's dead.
The Broodlords also adding in that extra DPS. Neural Parasiting all of those Immortals has been an absolute game changer. Now with the Broodlords, he can start to siege away at all of puCK's army, and puCK needs to come up with some sort of answer. He has to make Void Rays and everything. The Investors don't have a lot of energy, though, right now.
He does have 2 Stargates, by the way, but he doesn't have a lot of money, and rather gas, I would say. Oh my. Investor Broodlord making that comeback. I don't know if JonSnow knows where he wants to attack. He's like, I could go right for the core of the Protoss, but rather gonna, I guess, go for the bases instead.
Oh.
Like, he's wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
With a very immobile army.
This is, I mean, shutting down all these right-hand bases will be a really, really big win for JonSnow. He's also shutting down some of puCK's counter-harassment, but JonSnow, I think there's maybe a little, I can't tell if I'm actually undecided if this is indecision or just smart play, where he knows that these Broodlords, and he can't let them be totally vulnerable. So whenever he has to deal with, like, these DT harassment, he has to deal with the Zealot harassment and everything, he's pulling a decent chunk of his army to deal with it. And he pulls back his Broodlords from being able to shut down the bases. He hasn't done anything with the
Broodlords in the past, like, minute or so.
But I mean, does he want to leave them vulnerable? If he has to clean up the harassment with units in, like, all 3 or 4 of these different locations, does he want to risk his Broodlords being out and exposed?
I doubt it, but I feel like them just standing there is kind of bad too.
Yeah.
So the point when he was over here, and then he went all the way to the right, and then he went all the way to the left again, he didn't do anything in that minute, and that allowed puCK to get these warp-ins going on. And now we're seeing this attack. You see, like, this forces puCK to respond.
That's true.
And even though JonSnow might lose a bit at home if he doesn't respond to it, puCK, you know, the ball's in his court right now. He has to do something.
I think puCK's response, or at least it looked like puCK's response, is just going to be going for a counterattack. And I mean, JonSnow killing off that base was all well and good, but I'm sort of surprised he didn't just continue a bit of that aggression into the main base with the Broodlords. I mean, he doesn't know this, but he would have, of course, encountered some of these Void Rays and maybe been able to fungal growth them and deal with them a little bit more effectively. But just going for the production facilities, I think, would have been really effective. Going for that third expansion, like, it wasn't mining. It wasn't really doing anything.
It wasn't I don't even, the gas is not even there anymore. 0 Vespene gas remaining. But I would like to step back and say this game is pretty sick, Fear Dragon.
It is, man. We're hitting 24 minutes, and finally JonSnow cleans up that DT at the top right.
Like, that is a 15-minute DT. I don't even know how many kills he had.
Oh my god, there's another DT.
This one over here has
further
10
in the top right.
Top right.
Oh my god, he sent in another DT. He's okay. No. puCK is on. Or sorry, this DT is gonna be scouted by JonSnow. But the Void Rays are moving in. They're trying to take out Spore Crawlers. I think that may have been an A move, and puCK realized, wait a second, why are there so many Spore Crawlers over there? And he has to back out. Unfortunately, I think those Spore Crawlers are there because the DT is just right-clicking down Spore Crawlers earlier.
That's a lot of Void Rays, and he needs to split them up if he does go for the engagement, and he can't let them follow the same path of the Phoenix. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see the Void Rays just sticking maybe around with the Mothership Core, just because being able to recall them out if they ever get fungled or something would be a really, really nice ability. But yeah, I agree. If he goes for the engagement, he really does need to split them up. But I would even say, actually, Void Rays will kill other Void Rays really quickly because they are armored units and they do extra damage to armored. But all right, what's puCK's response? And the puCK's response is to go for a counterattack with his Stalkers.
Yeah, but remember we were talking about that earlier. Like, what do you do with the Stalkers? They're not going to be good in the fight. So he's trying to do whatever he can. And we're going into a base trade, boys, or at least some kind of variation of it. Pure Void Ray against Infestor, Hydra, and I don't even know if they're Corruptors anymore, but it doesn't look like it. I don't know. The army value is very, very similar, but you look at the supply and it looks like puCK. Oh, yeah, he got it. But look at the army value. It's nearly dead even.
This is
the quality
really
of
close.
units here. Yep. JonSnow's quality of his army is really, really powerful. These Stalkers are not really part of the fight. They're not doing anything.
Yeah, I really thought he was gonna go into the main base and start taking out the tech of JonSnow. If he took out both the Hive tech as well as like Ultraless Cavern or the Lurker Den or something like that, that would have been a pretty big blow to JonSnow because it would have taken him a while to tech back up. And let's be real, neither of these players have very much income. In fact, amazingly enough, JonSnow is effectively only mining off of maybe half a base.
Random.
How did that queen get there? I don't
How
even
did
know.
she get there?
That was a long journey for that queen.
Jump the cliff? She pole vault with their little.
While we weren't looking, she turned into a Reaper tempo. All right, Broodlords.
Either way,
this is what they've been looking to attack for almost the entirety of this game. They have been looking for the opportunity to shut down the mining of puCK. If he can get over there, get into this bottom right-hand base, this is going to be exactly what JonSnow wants to do. And oh my god, actually, a lot of the army for puCK is on the high ground. He really does. If he wants to defend this, he has to get down to the low ground, but he's kind of awkwardly dancing back and forth in between.
Where is Void Rays, by the way? I remember he had a lot of them, but I don't know where they are.
They're sitting at the bottom right-hand corner. They're sitting with the army now.
Never mind, yeah.
Oh,
So he's adding 3 additional Stargates, by the way. His economy is so much better than JonSnow's. He just needs to find a way to deal with this army, and he will not engage it until he has the tools to do so.
I almost feel like this is around the time that even Say's having something like Observer plus a DT, moving around, just cleaning up creep and stuff, shutting down the vision for JonSnow, so that when he goes for these counterattacks, JonSnow doesn't have so much time to react with such an immobile army. And that's one of the big problems, is that every single time that puCK would try and go for the counterattack, JonSnow would immediately pull back, and he would be in position to deal at least with a decent chunk of puCK's harassment. Oh, losing that Oracle just sucked. Oracles are really valuable in the late game.
And so does that base. It goes down. Not really the most important base at the moment, but here comes the attack out of JonSnow. puCK has a much better economy, but he does not want to get fungled. Like, if he gets fungled, all of a sudden this army, I would assume, would just get wrecked.
Oh, okay. This is a really weird situation. I'd say I actually really like JonSnow's vision out on the map right now, just because, again, he has all these creep tumors. And puCK, in the contrast, is like really in the dark about it so much until like, or unless he gets those revelations off, and he only actually has one Oracle left over. The Stargates from earlier on got taken out. I think he might have even lost his Cybernex core. Did he ever rebuild that? Yes, he did. In the bottom right.
Okay, so he did. And he's still able to make the Archons, I believe. He has the... Does he have the... Yeah, Dark Shrine as well as the Templar Archives. What kind of composition does puCK go for? Somebody mentioned that Tempest here. Yeah, triple Tempest right now. There was somebody in the chat that goes, hey, if puCK were to mass Tempest right now, or earlier rather, he would have been in a much better position so that he can like chip out the army, not have to really worry about fungals as much.
That is...
Because it forces JonSnow to attack into him.
That is true. I will say, though, that it is still a bit difficult, even with the Tempest and the long range and everything. The Tempests are still kind of slowish units compared to, for example, all these Zerg units on creep. So when he starts trying to chip away at that army, he does still have to be very careful about the fungal growths. Fungal growths can still very easily lock down some of those Tempests. I'm not disagreeing, but I do think that is not super simple.
Okay. I wish that he did keep the Oracle alive, though. I feel like when you go into the Tempest, you do have to value Vision so much more than you already value it. Look at that. You're gonna start taking out some of the brood boards.
This is a really nice job. Tempests do get fungal growth, and Neuroparasited, he's trying to attack his own units over here. I mean, the Neuroparasites are nice to be able to take out those Tempests, or at least stop them from attacking everything, but Neuroparasite and the Archons is another really nice move. I just don't think that JonSnow has enough over here, though.
Oh, he's trying so hard to push on through, but the fungals are going to add that slight DPS, but it's more so about locking down that Protoss army. puCK is looking like he's going to get really low in HP,
oh my God.
Can he actually break this? I mean, is he getting broken? Whoa. These Tempests are so vital to take out those, the Broodlords.
Yeah, the Tempests are still alive, and they can start to chip away at those Broodlords, and there's no energy left over on these Infestors. I think there might be only one fungal growth left over. The Queens are going to start to get taken out as well. JonSnow, he's finally trying to establish this top right-hand base, but that's his only mining potential base.
And he only has 20 drones to his name, which I don't even believe are mining that efficiently. So... yeah, that was a big attack by JonSnow, and he closed that supply gap by quite a bit. So that was very impressive, actually, I must say. But here come the Tempest, the Fear Dragon. I mean, can you really remake an army that is going to be able to deal with that amount of Tempest?
Well, I don't know, Tempo. It's the funny thing about Tempest is you have to remember they are massive units that deal extra damage to massive units. So the Neuroparasites... they can be really effective. They can be really effective, but I don't, at least from what I saw, he Neuroparasited so many of the Tempests that the Tempests weren't attacking other Tempests. They were attacking ground units like the Stalkers or the Immortals or the Archons. They weren't attacking each other, and I think that's really what JonSnow needs to do. He has to be so, I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. He has to be so on point with that control. Oh, DT gonna take out the Greater Spire. That's a really nice pickoff.
That would be a sick pickoff if he got it. There's really no units over here. JonSnow doesn't have a lot of units to spare.
There's an Overseer that's going to get here in time. The DT is right-clicked on the Dark Shrine, or sorry, the Greater Spire, so it's not going to be able to take it out.
Wow.
So...
wow.
puCK is also running very low on that economy right now, where he has better income right now than JonSnow, but his base is much closer to being mined out, I think, than JonSnow's base. And JonSnow has some fresh bases he can very easily take.
Who finally took that one, in the top, right.
But I don't feel like puCK has easy bases he can take. There's only this maybe like center right-hand base that he can try to take after his other two bottom right-hand bases mine out, and that's going to be pretty soon.
But after that, so we're going to have to see maybe a push out of puCK. Some way to disrupt that other base over in the top, and JonSnow looking like he's trying to say that I cannot lose his base, pretty much, right? Because if he does, I just don't believe he will be able to keep up for the rest of the game.
Oh my God, Tempo. First of all, I love two things that JonSnow or puCK is doing right now. First of all, the Zealot run by kills off the Greater Spire. Second of all, Mothership. In this situation, this is such a strange game where it's a low economy late game situation with high tech units. But a Mothership is such a good idea. You cloak your army, and that's all well and good, of course. And yeah, he maybe has to be careful about fungal growths and everything, but
Neural parasite, anyone?
Yeah, neural parasite is also a really scary thought. Luckily, he doesn't have to worry about vortex or anything. But
oh god,
if the Tempest can kill off the overseers from a distance, JonSnow is not going to have much detection to deal with this. He's going to be relying almost solely on fungal growths and neural parasite.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna rely on that, Fear Dragon, then here's what you do as puCK. Finally, getting some High Templar out. Those infestors have so much energy, and if he's able to get the jump on them, it might catch JonSnow off guard, because he hasn't seen any Templar pretty much the whole game.
Oh my god, he's on the hunt right now. He's got this Warp Prism with both of the High Templar. I'm actually wondering, is he looking for the infestors, or is he just trying to do damage with like storm drops? I'm not sure.
I think he is going to go for the feedback. Oh my god.
Oh, Speed Warp Prism. He's moving on in. This is going to be so difficult, though, because it's sitting with the Broodlords.
Yep. He needs to not get fungled on the air. You know, it needs to be on the ground so that he can drop them.
These Zealots are going to kill off the base, though.
The bait is real. Here it comes.
Oh, Fungal Growth goes down. There they go. Feedback, feedback! Oh. He gets a lot of feedbacks off, but was that worth it? Was it worth it?
I don't think. He went for the one that had less energy, but...
Yeah.
If you feedback the Warp Prism, can you drop the units that are inside of it?
You can't feedback a Warp Prism. You mean Neural Parasite?
I meant to say Neural Parasite. Neural Parasite.
Oh my god, Tempo! I think I know what we're going to be testing during the break. Hold on, I'm actually so excited about that. I'm going to write a note to myself for this.
Yeah, do it. If you Neural Parasite a Medivac or a Warp Prism, or say if you do, yeah, I don't know, man.
What if you got the units too? Like, I'm speculating here.
Right?
If you got the units too, and when they dropped out, like, even if Neural Parasite expires, you still have control of the units. Wouldn't that be so sick?
Yo. My mind is, like, blown.
Neural Parasite. Warp
Right?
Prism.
I feel like that's something that we should know, but...
Yeah, how has that not been tested?
I don't know, man.
Maybe someone in the chat's gonna be like, oh, I've tested that.
Oh, I'll do the psych.
Well... Zealots from puCK cleaning up some of these buildings, and this might not seem like a big deal right now, but this game is turning out to be so weird that we may actually end up having some weird base trade situation. So killing off any of these buildings is legitimately pretty important.
Yep. Jeez. I don't even know, Fear Dragon. I think I'm broken. I'm like sitting here wondering, like, what in the blue hell?
It's such an unordinary
what
game.
What's the kill blow? And who does it, and how much time does
I think
puCK have? You were talking about...
JonSnow wants to. Because he's moving around, like... Yeah, he's got... Well, actually, okay. The more that I'm thinking about it, the more I like the fact that JonSnow sits back and doesn't go for the engagement. Because, first of all, we can see what JonSnow can't, that he has less army supply, that he's got a lot more to max out on. But also that he has these bases he can take and mine from. And puCK, I think, is going to have a harder time, even with the Tempest in the mix. Taking these bases as they get a little bit too close to JonSnow, I think may get a bit difficult. Yeah,
I believe he needs to go now. Start that push, slowly chip away at JonSnow, because he doesn't have the greatest economy. Yeah. So utilizing the Tempest, even if he's not trying to push right now, he can always put pressure on.
That's a really nice revelation. Being able to see all of this is really going to allow the Tempest to chip away. And that Mothership is also protecting that was protecting the Nexus. High Templar are doing some feedbacks on, I think, Queens as well as an Infestor. At the same time, we do have Zealots doing the run-by, going to be taking out a lot of the potential tech soon of JonSnow. JonSnow might need to do something right now.
He's feeling it. He's feeling the pressure. And I don't think that JonSnow wants to actually attack here, but he has to. And he's going to go for it. A lot of the units of puCK are clumped up, but there is not a lot of fungal growth left. Not a lot of energy on the infestors. I think puCK is actually going... He loses the base, yeah. But I think he has enough to get that confidence and say, hey, it's time.
I think
the time is now, Fear Dragon.
Yeah, what is there for JonSnow right now? And he's already losing the Broodlords. This is actually a pretty big deal. Psystorm going down top of the Hydralis. And finally, puCK. He's going to be the victor for game number 1.
What a game. 37 minutes. Almost 38.
That was...
I don't know.
That was technically a game.
Game
that was
1,
ridiculous. That was game 1. I am kind of blown away by that right now. That was a ridiculous game. It's already unordinary that we see a game go to that late stage of the game, right?
Yeah.
it's even more unordinary that we end up seeing that kind of game in the really, really low econ situation. But it's even more rare for it to be in a low econ situation with still a lot of high-tech units. It wasn't just because like I've seen a lot of Charge Lot Archon and like Roach Hydra with a couple of Vipers mixed in the super duper late game just because nobody can afford to make anything else. But it's like both players still went for these high-tech units despite the low economy. So it's just like small numbers of high-tech units battling it out.
Wow. That low econ but high tech, it's so
Low
weird.
econ, high tech, man.
In Heart of the Swarm, that was a situation, but they would both have like 7,000 something in the bank. Legacy of the Void, not so much, right? Not so much. And somebody says that you cannot neuroparasite a warp prism with units inside.
Oh, okay. That is super interesting.
Really?
Really?
Well, can you not neuroparasite a medevac or an overlord with units inside either? Or no? Wow. I don't know. We'd have to test it, Fair Dragon. I'm not buying it, man. But it could be true.
What? What the heck? What is Rifkin talking about? Rifkin. Okay, so Rifkin. Yeah, Rifkin. I don't know why, but like Rifkin started this thing where he started telling people to call me Butt Dragon for some reason, and he's saying the reason for that is because one of the notification types that I pick up is Butt Dragon, and I'm like, that's actually just not true. Like I legitimately do, my text isn't highlighted or anything when it says Butt Dragon. I don't know what the heck you're talking about. God freaking damn it, Rifkin. But by the way, guys, since it has we do have quite a few more people. Thank you. Oh my God, I think a lot of the people coming in from Pig's stream. Thank you so much, Pig. Big hearts out to you, man. One of my favorite players in the whole wide world. But for those who are wondering, this is BaseTradeTV. Where the heck are Rifkin and Zombie Grub? Rifkin and Zombie Grub both are in their coffins. They have to get some rest. I think that Rifkin is on his phone in his coffin. It's kind of like how a lot of people sit on their phones while they're texting in bed or something. They're checking Skype in bed, browsing the web and on their phone or something. That's kind of what Rifkin's doing because, he's
That'd
a
be
vampire.
Like the worst. I feel like, you'd have to, imagine trying to use a phone in a coffin. That's not really fun.
Well, it would provide light for itself. So I guess space-wise it'd be kind of awkward, but you would just be like...
That's what I'm thinking.
You'd just be kind of like this. You just like really, really...
You get like a cramp, yo. You'd be like... I don't know.
Yeah,
Can you get like Oculus Rift on your phone?
Oculus Rift on your phone.
That'd be pretty sick.
But yeah, for those who are wondering, I am the newest caster for the BaseTradeTV. I focus heavily on the North American scene, which is why I'm going to be covering today's qualifier with North America. And of course, Tempo is my #1 guy who I love to cast North America with. He's freaking awesome, and I think most of you guys know him, at least for his music, but he's also a freaking awesome commentator. So I asked Tempo if he could join me today, and he was like, oh yeah.
Hell yeah, that last game was worth it already, so just as we go along, man, that's the only icing on the cake for sure.
Okay, well...
JonSnow goes, long game, gotta start cheesing.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny, though? JonSnow, I was gonna bring this up after we started the game. JonSnow does have a history of cheesing right after a long game. There are a couple players I've identified this with, and I'm not even sure that other players have identified it as much. But I think there are quite a few players out there that I'm just like, okay, this game was like 30 minutes. I'm like 85 to 90% sure they're going to cheese the next game. And most of the time I feel like I am right. I'm going to start calling it out in the future. But now I'm actually just thrown off because JonSnow just said he was going to cheese. I don't know if this is like the double mind game of like, oh, I just joked about cheesing, so there's no way I would cheese. Except, well, I don't know. It could
work.
It could work. That's true. It's possible for it to work. Also, I want to remind everyone that I do not have Twitch alerts set up right now. I'm going to try and set it up after this next series so that I can see when, for example, subscribers and donations and stuff come in. Otherwise, I'm pretty much just relying on seeing subscribers in the chat. So if I do miss you guys, I'm so sorry. I will be sure to catch up on a subscriber and on like a donation shoutouts and all that stuff after we get to a nice little break point. But ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping into the next map. It's going to be Ruins of Saros. I'll see you guys there after I load up the map intro. Boom, see you guys there. Boom, see you guys there. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and jumping into game number 2 after the really epic game number 1. Spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Zerg player representing Team Flipside Tactics. Give it up for the American JonSnow with a little bit of cheese.
Oh my goodness, you were right. Alrighty. So spawning on the bottom left corner, also representing Flipside Tactics, he's up by 1. It is puCK, that North Dakota representative.
Oh my god, puCK goes for a really early probe scout. Okay, I guess that was a gateway probe scout, but he scouts out and sees the gas geyser and pool, no hatchery at this stage in the game. All right, this is definitely a big cheese, a big ling flood from JonSnow. And this is what I was saying, man. I'm like 80%, 85 to 90% sure. When a player plays a long game, like JonSnow plays a long game, he's gonna cheese you. I'm so sorry, Jared. Like, I'm revealing your secrets right now. But seriously, man, you gotta mix it up more.
They're teammates as well, which is kind of funny. I wonder how much they actually played together, but it's a double gate out of puCK. So this is probably the hardest of the hard counters right now.
All right. Yeah, puCK, he's going to have the opportunity to defend against this with Zealots. And, I mean, he's not even making more Zealots or any Adepts right now. I guess he's pooling up. Okay, he definitely has the resources to do it. I wonder what
he wants to make
for.
Adepts, it looks like. Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, there they are.
Double Adept is going to come out. 1 Zealot to hold the line, but he needs to be very careful, even pulling it back in order to save it. Wow.
Wow, that was last second pullback. One more attack would have killed that Zealot. And now it's going to be able to regenerate the shields. It's going to be effective at delaying things for a little bit longer. puCK has a probe hidden out on the map right now, but JonSnow did catch onto that. He did end up taking it out. And he's going to try and take an expansion.
I can't believe puCK really double gated though. Like, I actually this is some crazy metagame stuff right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is pretty surprising. And I realize this because now I also say, like, I realize he threw down the double gate before he scouted anything out from JonSnow, because
yeah,
I was thinking like he went for that really early probe scout, but I'm starting to realize like the location. I thought that second gateway was a cybernetics core.
I know, that's what I thought at first as well, and then all of a sudden I realized that it was akin to when you go for the Nexus first and then go for it, you know, double Adept in order to have enough units. And I think a lot of the times it's weird because this wouldn't be the case in any other situation. Like if you're playing a ladder game, unless you're practicing this specifically, I just don't think you do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe puCK has some kind of secret builds for these kind of maps. I've seen it on Lilac, but not as much on Ruins.
If he did have some secret build prepared for this map that involved a really fast second gateway, I'm not sure if he's really going to get to show it to us, because this game has sort of been disrupted. He ends up throwing down his expansion. He's going to go up to 4 gateways. I wouldn't be too surprised to see this followed up into like maybe some Adept pressure or something, just because that's one really common thing is like a lot of Zerg players, and I'm going to say this with a grain of salt because we're seeing a giant Zergling flood. But I was going to say, like, a lot of Zerg players, after they go for some kind of big attack like that, they try and play very greedy behind it, or they try and just continue to all in. And it's
the
sort
game
of
right there.
It's sort of a guessing game a lot of the times for Protoss players who don't have a way of getting vision out on the map. I mean, how is puCK really expected to get a lot of vision out on the map with just these small groupie forces he has right now, until just now, where he starts to get out the energy for hallucinating things? Like, this is much later than I think he really wanted to get the information about that.
Would want to. Yeah. Well, luckily for him, he will be able to spot most of what he wants. There's no Spore Crawler, not a lot of Queens, and it's not like JonSnow rushed up to layer to get Hydras or something like that either. So this should get a full scout, I would say, as it goes into the main. Sees that JonSnow is droning, by the way. So remember you were talking about the guessing game of, is he making units or is he going to just try to be greedy? And he sees drones being made. So that's another indicator that puCK might just get aggressive.
Yeah, JonSnow is preparing with these Zerglings. He's actually going to catch puCK the second that puCK leaves to try and be a bit aggressive. JonSnow, I think, was anticipating this. He goes in with all these Zerglings. There are a couple of Fortune Overcharges available. Force Shields go down, but I think that there is going to be enough for him to hold over here, just barely.
And the force fields are pretty good. Is he going to save the... Oh, the sentry survives.
Ooh.
And now the push is here for puCK. A lot of the units of JonSnow were used to try to get economic damage done, but guess how many probes they killed? Not that many. It looks like 3 is the total for the game.
Well, Adept's trying to move in, trying to get some sort of scouting information and see how much of an army JonSnow has, and it looks like puCK says that's actually enough units that I'm okay with backing up. You've invested quite heavily into making a lot of these roaches right now on a very low drone count of 37, and he says, cool, I actually did the damage indirectly of making you make those units right now.
The units, yeah.
And I'm just gonna I'm gonna go back home, I'm gonna get up a little bit more tech, get up some more units, and I'm gonna go and attack later on.
And I think what puCK is doing is really smart, especially because of the opener that JonSnow did, made it so that he's not going to be on like a crazy drone count. You know, it wasn't a 3 hatch before pool, and then these kind of plays, it's like, oh, gotcha, you made you make units, but you know, you have 3 hatch economy that's been injecting forever. That it's not that bad because you can actually do damage with the units you make. The amount of units that JonSnow is making, not really enough to pressure puCK, I would say, especially because he's not opting to take a third. And he has this warp prism kind of looming around, just keeping JonSnow at home, almost like a PvT.
Yeah, JonSnow is one of those Zerg players, though, that is okay sitting on a very low drone count, 39 drones still, and he is only pumping out more and more units. The harassment from the warp prism is still potentially trying to engage, but good force fields over here from puCK. Gonna be able to trap in a decent number of these roaches. Is forced to back off, though, with the Corrosive Vials coming in the mix.
Yep, and here come the Ravagers and the Roaches here. Corrosive Bile gonna go on the pylon here. I don't think he targeted with every single of the Corrosive Biles, but he will cancel the third base, which is really good. I don't even know if he has road speed, though. I think he's just attacking randomly, and he could actually get some good benefits from it.
Adept's trying to do some harassment at the third, but JonSnow just says, I'm just not gonna mine over there. I only have 39 drones. Joke's on you. Corrosive Bile is still continuing to fall down and pushing puCK very far back. He's out of energy with photon overcharges. Once this pylon is done, there's not going to be any more.
He's buying time for the disruptors. It is going to come out, and one disruptor shot changes this because there's not a lot of economy. Corrosive Bile is going to go off in time. Oh, there goes the disruptor shot. Purification overtaking out so many of those Ravagers. Dear Dragon. I don't know. Do you think that was enough to turn the tide?
I don't know. That Immortal is, I mean, it's not going to be doing extra damage to these Ravagers, but it's still going to be tanking a lot of these Corrosive Bile shots. Corrosive Bile is actually hitting a lot of these Stalkers at the same time. The Adepts on the other side of the map haven't really done any economic damage. JonSnow has been able to clean that up, and he's shut down the Robotics Elite production. And even the Mothership Core is very low on health. It could actually get taken out very easily.
Yep, but, you know, puCK is trying to hold on. There are no pylons to overcharge that are in range of these just yet. Oh, he's going to take a nice Corrosive Bile there. It triggers the shield of the Immortal. And this is a lot of Zerg. Fear Dragon. JonSnow might just push here for the win.
He is continuing to reinforce. He's mining effectively at that third expansion. That Immortal getting so low in health. The barrier is on cooldown right now.
The Warp Prism is going to allow him to micro a lot better.
Oh, that's actually a really smart decision.
Yep.
Pulling that back, realizing that he wasn't really accomplishing a whole lot of damage on the other side of the map, and he really just needs to survive right now. That's the #1 priority.
Yeah, puCK is surviving as best as he can. He's losing a lot of probes now. JonSnow, even though he does have that small drone count, is going to overtake puCK here in the worker count. The Nexus is being targeted down. The Lings don't care anymore. Is this the right choice, though?
I mean, is he going to just die to a counterattack? No, though. Blink on top of the Ravagers is going to be able to pick a decent chunk of them off. He does force out a Corrosive Bile shot and forces the Stalkers back. But puCK is going to continue to blink and chase this army across the map, which, by the way, as you pointed out, Tempo, do not have Galileo Reconstitution. They cannot move faster. He doesn't even have a lair right now, Tempo.
He doesn't even have a lair? Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that. No Evo Chamber. He wants to end this game right now. Well, now it goes down an Evo Chamber, but...
Well, I mean, I think now he's done the damage. He just wants to carry this out, right? Now is the time that he tries to drone up and just get enough units up to survive and say, like, now I can get my lair. My opponent is on 1 base. Not even 1 base. This is quite literally half a base in every sense of the word. There's only 4 mineral patches.
Doesn't even have an S in it right there. I think what you said is very important. You know, the fact that JonSnow can kind of chill back and wait for puCK to bring it to him. He doesn't need to try to end the game. He essentially, quote-unquote, ended the game by killing the Nexus if puCK doesn't do anything in response to it.
Yeah, it was a sacrificial thing, right? Where he sacrifices a lot of his army units. They're going to take a lot of pot shots, or be taking a lot of pot shots to puCK's army, but in exchange he shuts down puCK's economy. And the thing is, puCK then has like this very small window of opportunity where he's like, okay, immediately swing across the map and try and go for a counterattack. But I actually don't know if it would have worked. puCK didn't have that much left over. It was such a close engagement already, so I don't know. Maybe this is the best chance puCK has.
Yeah. He's just trying to make sure that JonSnow doesn't make too many drones, but he's already about 10, or it's 9 9 drones ahead.
Oh,
so.
I like this. I like this hidden expansion of the top left-hand corner. Oh my God, JonSnow! JonSnow's game sense.
No, not the God.
Oh my God.
The God? The God. Is he gonna miss it though? Look at the rally.
No. I think he's gonna get it. I think he's.
I don't know, dude. Well, we gotta pay attention here too. Warp Prism is in trouble.
Warp Prism doing a little bit of harassment.
No, he doesn't see
it. JonSnow, you were so close.
You know nothing, JonSnow, and the probes are also gonna wall off right now, which means that if they did that 5 seconds earlier, it would have been obvious. But now, holy crap, that is insane.
Oh man, and puCK is also keeping JonSnow very much on the defensive, and just constantly also being able to get an opportunity to scout out what he's up to with this Warp Prism harassment. Has he seen the Spire though? That is a really, really big question. I think
has puCK seen it?
Yeah.
He's not seen the Spire.
That is a really big deal, because even if puCK manages to sneak in that third expansion, even if he has Blink Stalkers in the mix, he's going for Disruptors. He's sitting on such a low economy for now, and he's not going to be able to saturate this. Oh, JonSnow moves in with the circle. He spots out the pylons. He's got to know something.
Oh, well, I don't know. He's continuing to make Disruptors. Finally, that Ling is going to discover that there is indeed at least pylons up here. But that is a long way to go with the army of JonSnow. Only going to use the Lings, and I don't think they're going to actually be able to break on through.
I mean, all they really have to do is force out a force field, and then they leave, and then they come back and force out more warp-ins. Because, right, everything that's warped in over there, unless the Warp Prism comes back home, or, sorry, goes to the top left-hand corner, everything that warps in over there is trapped.
Yo, I mean, you don't want to warp in too much over there, you're right. And it's not like you want to keep your Mothership Core there the whole time. If only you could make 2 Mothership Cores, right, Fair Dragon? If only. I would actually, if only you could make a Mothership and then make a Mothership Core, so you could have 1 of each. I'd be okay with that. I'm not looking for anything to be broken, Tempo. All I want is to be able to double the number of photon overcharges I can have. All I want to do is be able to warp in carriers, man. Oh, that's all I ask for. Okay, well, Mutals are a really good way to handle this. Well, that's a good way to do it. Yeah, for sure. What is puCK even going to do over here? He doesn't even bother to run his workers because he's like, look, I'm already walled off. I actually can't escape. Like, there's no way I'm going to get out of here. I might as well just get whatever mining I can done. Yep. Oh, puCK. puCK is realizing he's just going to go for the counterattack, and I think the Mutalist should be able to shut down the economy of puCK and then go in for the defense. I don't think that even JonSnow has to go in over here for the immediate defense. Well, okay, I guess maybe he does. He's getting really, really aggressive with this push-in. He is, and this is all that puCK has. He doesn't have that third base anymore. The surround with the corrosive bios from the north, my God, GG! From all locations. JonSnow. Wow. That started with a 14-14, by the way. That started with a 14-14 and a 2-gate opening. What a way to start that. Oh yeah, and a 2-gate. That is crazy. Yeah, I'm digging this series, man. I'm really happy with that we got to cast the series. But we are going to be going into that ace match, and I know there was someone, Zombie and Rifkin were talking about it in the previous broadcast for the EU qualifiers, and they're talking about how someone has been complaining about like the usage of the word ace game, and here's my thoughts on it. People say like, okay, that's only really applicable for like team leagues and stuff, where you end up having the ace players from each team come out in the last match. But honestly, the way that people call it the ace game all the time now, if enough people are calling it that, I think that just the definition of the words changed, and it's okay. Yo, was it, who said this? I can't remember who it was, but the ace game, it doesn't have to be a team. Was it you that I was talking to about this? Maybe. I did this on stream. I think I was casting with somebody. No, I was on my stream. It was me and Sunny, I think. He said the same exact thing, and unless it changed, I had to go online, and it wasn't Wikipedia, and I looked at the definition of an ace match, and it did go and apply even if it's a 1v1 situation.
In Wikipedia or Liquipedia?
No, I was saying Wikipedia. I said I didn't
Wikipedia.
even Wikipedia. I think I actually no, I definitely Urban Dictionary'd it. Never mind. That's even worse.
Oh,
But
boy.
in a best of playoff format, 2 players compete head-to-head to win the majority of the games allotted to win a series. An ace match is when each player is 1 victory short of winning the series. But you think it is only when it is a team format?
That's
Like,
what,
that's what he said.
that's
I
what
think that might be true.
Someone has
But
been
Urban
saying
Dictionary
that
has
quite a
never
bit.
lied. Like, I quoted and cited a lot of different Urban Dictionary quotes for some of my papers in high school, and my teachers never questioned about that.
Yeah, man, you should actually look up Rifkin on Urban Dictionary.
You think
Everyone
so?
in the
Let's
chat
see.
should go look it up. We're not going to read it out
Is
on
a vampire?
stream. Oh my God! People need to go do that. Change the Urban Dictionary definition to vampire and get that to be
Does
the
he have
most
a
upvoted
Wikipedia?
thing.
Does he have a Liquipedia? Oh my god.
Oh my God! What?
just like replace his picture with the one of Night End,
No,
and
no, no,
pretty
no,
much
no,
it'll
no,
be the
no,
same
no,
thing.
something else, something else. Coma, just 2-0'd Neeb.
I heard about that in the chat that Neeb got 2-0, but I did not realize that it was.
Oh my God.
Oh god, I just Urban Dictionary Rifkin. What the hell?
Yeah, we're not going to read it on the stream. If you want to read it, you're going to read it at your own discretion. Ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping into the next map. It's going to be Central Protocol. Talk about weird maps. We're hopping into it. Hopping into it. Hopping into it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're hopping into it. The ace match. Get your ace matches out in the chat as we spawn up here in the top left-hand corner of the map on top of the red Zerg player representing Team Flipside Tactics. Give it up for JonSnow.
Yeah, hell of a series so far. But on the other side, once again, gonna be cross. It is our Flipside Tactic representative puCK. Now, last game was not cross positions, but
But Tempo, this is
I
Central
believe
Protocol.
the first one. No, it wasn't. The first one was actually vertical, and then the second one. You might have thought, if you looked at the end of the game, that it was.
Oh,
because
yeah.
of the way that the bases were taken. But contrary to popular belief, it indeed was a vertical spawn.
Yeah, back on Ruin
Yeah.
Seras. Yeah, so cross spawns on Central Protocol. Central Protocol is, again, we've talked about this, a very weird map. Your natural expansion is so far away. Luckily, for Protoss players everywhere, there is no longer the backdoor rocks that will just be knocked down and open up this weird pathway to another attack path for your opponent or counter-attack path. But this map is still a very weird and kind of scary map sometimes when it comes to blink aggression, when it comes to, I would say, Reapers and stuff, but that's not really applicable in this matchup.
I was about to make a point, and I'm like, you know what? Reapers are not applicable in this matchup at all. There's nothing
Well,
I
you
can
know,
say.
there is this one weird situation, you see. There's this one custom map where you can neuroparasite an SCV. What if you could neuroparasite buildings? That would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice. You could skip the whole neuroparasiting the probe in order to make the Nexus and then start making your ultimate army, but
Even like more directly applicable, you go for like an infestor drop into your opponent's base. You go to their forges or their engineering base, you neuroparasite the building, and you cancel the upgrade.
that would be crazy.
Neuroparasite the tech lab that's researching STEM. Well, I mean, okay, if you have infestors out and they're still researching STEM, something else has already gone wrong in that game.
Spot, yeah. That would be so cool though, but can you like take a carrier and then unclick the build interceptor so that they forget to right click it again?
Oh my god, Tempo, that's so brilliant. I need to write that down. That's totally my next useless fact if that's the case. Oh my god, that would be so sick. Alright, well, Adept's gonna be chasing after this Zergling as he sees, oh, you just have one Zergling out on the map? Well, I guess I can go for the harassment and try to put some pressure on. He did open up with the 2 gateways as well, so.
Once again, yep.
Following up with a Stalker.
And we have an Evo Chamber coming out from JonSnow, and he's
we got
only
a lot
mining
of lings.
gas. Yeah, and look at the Overlord positioning right now. It looks like he does want to get a bit aggressive with the drop.
But if a Stalker pops out and it sees those Overlords, it's gonna already soften it up a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I
make it
think
hard.
if he realizes it, he needs to realize it. I mean, usually you'll see the Stalker patrolling, and he's not doing that this game.
Oh my god, if he ends up patrolling, I think he was busy microing his adept. He might now have the APM to, yep, he's now patrolling that stalker. The Overlord is spotted. He sees that it's a drop Overlord. This is the perfect timing.
Uh-oh. Well, you can know that it's coming, but can you actually respond? Can you kill the Overlord?
He's dropping down a pylon in his main mineral line. He's gonna have an extra pylon over there in time, I think, to photon overcharge.
Well, this is the perfect response, by the way. He's going for double Stargate, but he needs to be able to stop this drop. This might do a bit of damage here. This is very scary.
I mean, I think one of the biggest things, again, is just the fact that he saw it and he had time to get up an extra pylon that he didn't necessarily need. You can see he's sitting at 55 of 70 supply. He didn't need to drop the pylon this early, but he dropped it a little bit earlier than usual so he could throw down that pylon and potentially get a foot in overcharge. He's going to be losing maybe the sentry or the stalker over here, which is a bit painful. Oh my god, he's actually losing a lot of his probes as well. The Mothership Core is not joining in. Does the Mothership Core not have energy?
It's not.
Oh, he doesn't.
He's trying to fight at the front because there is another run by. We're not a run by, but at least an attack at that ramp. And that is a lot of probes that go down, but look at the actual worker count at the end of the day. 38 to 38 now, 40 to 39 in Zerg's favor, but that was a good scout here, not only with the drop. Oh my god, no, yeah, he did see the Stargate, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. So, did a bit of damage, equalized the economy, and also got a scout.
Yeah, these Zerglings may be able to kill off one additional probe, and that actually does give JonSnow a nice little drone lead now, especially with a couple of the more drones that he's made. But I would say the big thing now is that puCK is going to be moving across the map most likely with some of these Phoenixes, trying to find some damage he can do. But there's still more Zerglings over here that I think JonSnow wants to at least shut down a third expansion with. Is puCK going for a third?
I don't know, and I'm wondering if you go for this kind of style, your ground army is obviously not going to be that good, but a lot of the times when you go for the mass Phoenix, you're able to get so far ahead economically because of the third that you're taking. So if he doesn't use too much energy on killing the economy of JonSnow, maybe he'll follow it up with like a crazy push with it too, you know? Like Adept Phoenix, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But he does need a third if he's going to take advantage of it fully.
Ooh, Phoenixes are doing some nice damage over in the main base of JonSnow, killing off an Overlord, picking off all the drones, mining gas right now. But puCK is still feeling trapped inside of his main base. He's had times where he had a lot of minerals. He starts to make more Phoenixes, and he's starting to throw down more gateways. He was only sitting on 2 warp kits this entire time. And this is where I'm starting to wonder, like, okay, puCK, you've got to make a decision of whether you're going to go for the third or go for the gateways. And I'm sure, I'm not saying this as a criticism, I'm saying this like he knows this. And I'm starting to wonder, like, what is the decision going to be? Is he just going to continue to make more Phoenixes and go for like an all-in with Phoenixes and with a couple of Adepts in the mix?
That's what I'm thinking, because it is very hard to hold your third on this map. So, what does JonSnow do? And, you know, he realizes that he is playing on Central Protocol, but there are a lot of Phoenixes out. The Hydras need to come out together. If they get picked off one by one, there will never be enough, and then all of the Overlords will die. He'll get supply blocked into hell, and then basically it's just kind of the spiraling downwards, I would say, of the game for the Zerg player.
Yeah, looks like puCK
though.
wants to take a third. He at least saw the outline of it. There he is. He's starting to move down. JonSnow taking a 4th expansion. Very, very far spread out at bases on Central Protocol. This is just one of the things you're going to have to deal with inherently on the map. But with the Hydrals coming out, he should, I mean, he needs to still get the Hydrals out in decent enough numbers that they can't just be picked off by this massive Phoenix count. But
He might go charge here with this Twilight Council coming. He's going to be able to dump minerals into it, and if there are a lot of Hydras, charge lots do incredibly well against them. So, supply blockage is going to be nice.
Yeah.
Wow, these Phoenix. He's going to go for the Adept upgrade, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess they do pretty well against Hydras, too.
Yeah, I mean, Adepts,
okay.
they'll do pretty well against Hydralists since they do that extra damage versus Light, which Hydralists are definitely not armored units. They're very much glass cannons, light biological glass cannons.
They're like a step below Light.
I also just feel like it makes sense to complement the massive Phoenix count, where the Adepts are also going to deal relatively well with the Zerglings.
Yeah.
And it's going to sort of
They do
complement
incredibly well.
That's the unit that I think the Phoenixes are going to be struggling with the most.
Zerglings for sure, right? Where you get that ground army to kind of cover what it is where you are weak, I would say. And he secured a 3rd base here, Fair Dragon. And since it's not going to be like Roach Ravager, maybe it's not going to be as difficult
my God.
to actually defend.
This Phoenix count is still so ridiculous
It's
that
insane.
he just engages straight up against like 6-7 Hydralisks. Bit of miscontrol over there. I guess some of those Phoenixes not hotkeyed. They're the newer Phoenixes of the group. They haven't been told the
not bad.
routine.
They're just scouting, you know, making sure that no overlords make it out.
Gotta be wary of those.
Which is funny that there's
offensive
there's one right in between the second and the third base. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you've avoided this for this long, but you keep on, play on, player.
Yeah, man.
Overlord.
This is the Overlord that's from Jurassic Park, man, saying this is like being hunted down by an army of T-Rexes. Like, if I just stop moving, they won't see me.
He's been holding his breath since the beginning of the game.
Well,
But
Adepts.
puCK needs to make a decision, yeah.
I actually think that this Adept army, I really don't know how this is going to go. This is a decent number of Adepts with the upgrade, and with Guardian Shield and, you know, some good force fields, I could see puCK maybe doing this. This is such a ridiculous number of Phoenixes. He's still making more.
Yeah. I think if he waits for +1, it's going to be a lot better, obviously. But remember, that's a lot of Hydras too, Fear Dragon. You can go in and try to lift them up with the Phoenixes, but you have to be so careful. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so tense.
I don't
is
know
he
if
going to
Adepts-
attack?
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Whoop.
Guardian
You might
Shield
have no
being
choice.
popped. Zergling's going to be soaking up a majority of the early hits, but some force fields do keep those Hydrals out of the fight for a bit of time. One or two more force fields going to be thrown down, but it looks like all of the sentries are going to be forfeit for their lives.
He's trying to trade out as best as he can in order to get rid of that buffer, but that concave was way too wide for him to actually engage it, and that's the kind of nature of this map. Concaves for days, perfect for Zerg engagements, I would say.
Yeah, I
Almost
think
all the time.
I'm very surprised that this ended up making it into the map selection.
Well, maybe puCK thought that he's like, I'm gonna beat him in 2 games anyway, right? So who cares what the third map is? It's not gonna be the case. That
Yeah.
Phoenix count, 20.
20 Phoenixes. That is a bit crazy, and I'm not gonna compliment puCK on his Phoenix control, because when I complimented another Protoss
Don't
player
compliment
earlier
anything.
today,
Fear Dragon, just stop being nice, all right? Just
yep,
I don't know
because
what
then
it
they
is.
instantly got all of their Phoenix's fungal growth and lost all of them. If in case you were
There
not
aren't even
here
any
for
infestors
this.
in the game, but if you start talking about the Phoenixes right now and how good they are at staying alive, I bet they'll just randomly just blow up or somehow get fungal.
He's gonna be like, oh shoot, I hit X on my Phoenixes, and just like self-detonating banelings.
Just like the evacuate cockpit button, like, you know what, F this, man.
Let's try to make
I'm
Phoenixes, but we got some stasis wards going down. One of them is going to be finishing up, and there's no detection over here. Okay, here's a detection a little bit further back, but he triggers it on a couple of these Zerglings. Lift up on this
Oh, nice
lurker.
pickup, nice pickup.
Yeah.
I like this. He needs to have an observer, though.
Oh my
the
God.
oracles are going to be good and all, but he needs to tag the lurkers, not only the Hydra.
Yeah. Phoenixes
he
are
picks
picking up all
up
these
the ball.
lurkers, though. This is a really nice pick-off, and the Adepts get right on top of the Hydralisks. I think that puCK is going to do it.
What? He's going to be able to keep a lot of his Phoenixes alive. He did have to trade a lot of them, but he is... Oh, there is one lurker there. I don't know where it is behind it. 2 lurkers in the back that puCK did not account for.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
But he does have... Wow.
I'm
That was a lot
amazed.
better than I thought.
And the Phoenixes, I would actually say the majority of the use for the Phoenixes in that fight was not killing off opposing units by lifting them up. It was just taking Hydralisks out of the fight. He just took 20 Hydralisks out of the fight by lifting them up with 20 of his Phoenix.
With Phoenixes, yeah. Look at that unit lost. It does seem like JonSnow's ahead in that department. Not a chart you do want to be ahead in, of course, but that was a really nice little hold there from puCK. I thought that he was going to be in a lot of trouble, but the Phoenixes did come through in the clutch, and the Adepts were able to jump right on top. And I think there was a bit of a slip-up because the lurkers weren't burrowed. There were like 2 of them.
Well, yeah, Zergling run by over the natural expansion. Fortune Overcharge is going to deal with the majority of them. 3 of them will sneak on into the main base, which should be dealt with relatively promptly by an Adept. But, you know, the one thing I will say about the Phoenix play is that we say, yeah, puCK did keep alive 10 of his Phoenix. That's not too bad. He ended up losing 12 of them, which is a lot, but it's still a decent number. But here's the thing, Tempo. Hydralisks are much easier to replace time-wise. Not just, I'm not talking about cost.
Yes.
Time-wise, you can make all of these Hydralisks so much quicker. And look at this, JonSnow is already back up to a very, very large army, and puCK is not bothering to replenish that Phoenix count because he knows that he can't effectively do it.
I was gonna say, I've never seen a game go to this point on this map in a PvZ.
Oh my god!
I'm just gonna put that out there. But you know what? Do you think he really should replace the Phoenixes though? You know, he's looking like he wants to invest in other things, such as Archons here from the High Templars. But I mean, I think even getting Storm would be good. Yeah, he is.
Is there a point in replacing the Phoenixes? I mean, are you talking about the Phoenixes as he has alive right now, or just?
Or did you say like replenishing them? Like he knows that JonSnow's making a lot of Hydra.
I don't like that. I don't like this decision. I think you just keep enough alive that your opponent can't go for a big Muta swap like we saw in the last game on Ruins of Seras, and that's really what you need the Phoenixes for at this stage. I think going into a mass adept with some good upgrades as well as Psystorms, that's going to be a perfectly good response to this. Maybe once get some charge ults in though for the lurkers.
Yeah, he needs to research that upgrade just to make them a bit better, because he is going to start to have a lot of minerals that will be floating, especially when you start to invest into the High Templar and very gas-heavy units that don't really have a mineral cost to them. So, yeah, getting charge would be very, very good. Or just taking every base on the map and taking the gas, you know, that could work too. I mean, why not? Why not?
That is certainly one way to do it. But... well, we're starting to see another crazy macro game, Tempo. This is reminding me a bit of game number 1.
This is the best series I've casted in a long time.
Dude, I'm loving this series. I'm so happy we jumped onto this. These two guys are actually some of my favorite players in North America, but Phoenix
I know.
Phoenix just pick off the Overseer. Oh my god, Tempo, we're seeing the Bisu build.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Okay, second Overseer comes in.
Damn.
These Phoenixes kill off another Overseer. Oh my god, this is This is legit, could be a Bisu build. Overseer is getting a little bit far ahead of itself right now, Tempo.
You can feedback the Overseer and then pick it off, but I don't know if that would be a good use of your energy here for your High Templar.
That's true. Yeah, you do want to be a bit conservative with that. Oh my god, that would make me so happy if we finally saw a Protoss player make the Bisu style like of Corsair DT instead going into Phoenix DT. For those who don't know, Bisu is a player in Brood War.
Tyler try to do that like way back Noni?
He did.
Game,
I
think.
Hold that thought. This is one of the few places on Central Protocol where it's not just like one giant open area. This is kind of a choke.
Okay, I know what you mean, right? It's funny how like as the map opens up, there's finally like locations here that puCK can engage a little bit more confidently.
Oracle's going to continue to tag all of these lurkers as well as the Hydras. Hydras definitely leading the charge over here, which I think is a smart decision. You want to make sure the Oracles can't get those easy tags, and you also want to make sure that the Phoenixes can't just lift up those lurkers and start to pick them off. But a couple of these Hydras maybe getting a bit ahead of themselves. JonSnow wants to go for the big engagement, but these storms are a little bit too ridiculous. I think that JonSnow needs to back up.
Yeah, it is pure Hydra, and they are so vulnerable to those storms. There are no roaches or any real buffer. I think that these storms are going to be so key because as soon as they get softened up, nice pickup, just to get a few here and there.
I really don't like the fact that JonSnow is doing this. I think that JonSnow, he has an Ultralisk Cavern on the way. He doesn't need to go into this. He has a big bank as well. I think that what he really should be doing is sitting back, maybe trying to make it look like he's trying to be aggressive to keep puCK from attacking him. And then he just comes in with a big surprise Ultralisk transition. And guess what? Adepts versus Ultralisk?
Mortals, you have... Yeah. Wow, Feardrag, I didn't know you were a comedian. Whoa. But, like, yeah, true. Adepts don't really do that well against Ultras. That is for sure.
Okay, well, Zergling's doing a nice run by. This is all a really good effort to buy time. And I like the fact that JonSnow is also just saying, let me get up the Spire so I can potentially transition into Mutalisk behind this. Sacrifice some of the Zergling supply as he pops them on into the different bases. Of course, a lot of photon cannons down, which is I really like from puCK. And also not just that, but the wall-ins, which may not seem like a big deal. Of course, it's nice for Zergling run-bys, but when it does come to the Ultras coming out, those wall-ins are going to be really, really nice, just in delaying those Ultras from killing off those bases.
Yeah. Damn. This is getting to a really crazy stage here as puCK is taking the entire right side of the map. JonSnow looking to take the entire left side of the map. And,
oh my god. How are these Phoenixes still alive?
I don't know.
I want to commend puCK so badly on this, but I don't want him to lose the Phoenixes.
He's trying to go for the Overseer. And if he's able to kill the Overseer, he's going to be able to warp in DTs to go in and start targeting down the Lurkers specifically.
Yeah, there's 2 Overseers over here, though. I'm not sure if puCK saw the second Overseer. Oracle gets picked off. That sucks. He does still have another Oracle alive. It just came out of the Stargate. He knows how important that Oracle is for not only the Revelations, but just getting an... Or, sorry, not only the detection from Revelation, but just keeping an eye on where JonSnow is.
Yep.
Oh.
It would have been so crucial, I think. It's just the fact that he wasn't really paying attention, but there's a bit of an attack by some Adepts that will...
I think the Adepts, it's a sacrifice. He knows that he's maxed out. He's sacrificing the Adept supply because he's seen the Ultralisk with the Phoenix. And he's saying, I need to start mixing in other things. And, well, he's going for Tempest.
Wow. I like that, though. Because, I mean, Ultras obviously can't shoot up, but the thing is it also allows him to tag with the Oracle and then pick off the Lurkers. Kind of what we saw on Ruins, but a little bit too late. So even though he won that game, I feel like he should have probably tried to do it a bit later, or rather earlier, sorry.
Yeah.
And he has the economy to do it. He's not really pressured in that department at all.
puCK, I know that you're doing a good job of picking off Overlords, but I think that JonSnow has enough Overlords right now. I don't think you're going to supply block him anytime soon.
Hey.
Wait, is this gonna...
if you dream, don't let your dreams be dreams, man.
No, okay, that did not supply block him.
I'm waiting for which Overlord it's going to be too, Fear Dragon. Like, which is the Overlord that will dip JonSnow below 200 supply?
JonSnow's at 19 Overlords. How much supply does an Overlord give? Oh, DT is over the gold in the center.
I know. Oh, they're going to take it out.
Yeah.
Did they get the drones that were there too? JonSnow's only at 47 drones at the moment.
Well, I mean...
this could be the one. Oh, is this the Overlord? All right, let's find out.
So you're getting excited about very strange things.
This is a very, this is really not.
DTs are going to be making their way into the main base and temple. This is something I can get excited about. If they snipe off the Hive or they snipe off the Lurker Den, oh my god, if they snipe off the Hive, that could actually be a pretty big deal.
No Overseers, what?
The Greater Spire's already finished up, though, as well as, of course, the Ultras Cavern.
There's no detection here?
Oh,
wait, there is growth! Wow, the Phoenix is Fear Dragon. You didn't even commend him on that. I didn't even
say it, man. I didn't even say it.
And he lost all of them.
And he didn't supply block them.
Which is not the worst.
What are these hallucinating Colossus?
What the heck?
Alright, well, puCK, moving on in. I guess maybe you sacrifice the Sentries. I was like, I might as well do something with them. Okay, those are hallucinating Colossus as well. Adepts are going to be sacrificing their lives, trying to get some damage done. They do manage to kill off quite a few drones. We're down to sub 30 drones right now. Oh my god, JonSnow does not have an economy.
He's not remaking them, and this is something that he did before on Levelac Crest, I think it was. Yeah. Excuse me, where he didn't remake the drones that he lost.
Oh boy. So here's the thing. That does mean that with puCK sitting at 64 workers and JonSnow sitting at 20, JonSnow is still close to max out. He might not have a bank, but he's still close to max out. We're going to have 180 army supply versus a maximum of 140. Like, there's guaranteed to be a max, like a giant army supply lead for JonSnow. He may be able to just take a big engagement because he has a superior army.
Yeah. Did he ever make Broodlords, by the way, though? He made one.
No, he has a Greater Spire alive, though, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's alive. It's at the 3rd. He's making another Hive. No, he's making a lair. Oh, he's making a lair. Oh, we can't make Overseers right now. Yeah. He can't make Overseers right now. But does he have any Overseers?
He has 4 at the moment.
Okay.
He does. Oh. I think he realized that, like, wait a minute. If I get into a position where I'm across the map with Broodlords and, like, Lurkers and I'm trapped, and I can't make Overseers, it's over.
Oh, that would have been the worst way to lose. Vision. Can you imagine if you lose a game because you forgot that your Hive tech got sniped off and you just couldn't make any detection whatsoever in the game besides Spore Crawlers?
Yeah, that's why I like to go for the double lair build in case I lose my lair. Then I'm just kidding.
Yeah, man. If you're at this stage of the game, maybe start making your other bases lairs so that they're harder to snipe off. All right. Well, the massive Tempest army is here for puCK. He's sacrificed enough of those Adepts, and he's finally starting to sacrifice some of these.
That's why he hallucinated the Colossi.
Yeah, man. He's still got energy left over. He could still hallucinate a couple more.
If only you could hallucinate sentries, I could hallucinate more. No, but
that would
real sentries. This is the kind of push that I feel JonSnow needs to make because of that worker count you were talking about. His army count is so big, so he needs to be able to put puCK in a chokehold. And I would love for some more harass around the map by puCK because, JonSnow's army is going to want to stay together for the most part.
He's already killed off more workers for JonSnow. He's down to 14 workers. I mean, effectively, it's not even about shutting down bases anymore for puCK. It's about just killing off any workers he can, because every worker he kills off is pretty much shutting down 90% of the mineral economy. Or it's like more realistically, it's like shutting down 10% of the worker economy.
Mothership, or rather the mothership, gonna chill here, cloaking all of the units of puCK. And Fungal's not gonna be the greatest, but the storms are looking a lot better. Neuroparasite on one of those Tempest.
Oh, this is these fungal growths are starting to finally hit some of these guys, and then with the Neuroparasite coming down on, I think the Mothership Core is not Neuroparasited. A recall gets used, and puCK is going to lose this central expansion. Now, he still does have a little bit of mining at the top right-hand corner of the map, but that was actually one of the key critical mining bases for puCK right now.
Yeah, and how much, I was looking at how much he had in the top right. That was the last base that he took, I think, before this one here. So it does look like he has a bit more to mine from it, but yeah, you're right. He's starting to run a little bit low, and if he can't deal with this army, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, even though JonSnow looks like he's down in supply, it's all worker supply. It's entirely worker supply.
Pure worker, yeah. All workers. He's on 14 drones for Dragon. He never made another drone, I don't think. He made like one.
You know, I did say JonSnow was okay with the low drone count. I just didn't realize it applied to this stage of the game. This. Oh, losing the oracles. Ooh, losing an oracle, that's a really big deal, because you have to remember, puCK is running low on that economy, so losing any of the detecting units, even losing like an observer or something, would actually be a pretty big deal right now, because he needs to be able to detect those lurkers.
Well, that poor Tempest. I don't know what the hell it was doing, but does he have an observer? I believe he does. No, he has 3. He has 3, but okay, yeah, good. That's good.
Tempest are doing some nice pick away damage on the revealed lurkers. The mass Tempest army is still a little bit further north. There are a couple High Templars in the mix as well, so they can go for the feedbacks on these only 4 remaining infestors. The Overseers are of course alive as well, but oh my god, that was a beautiful revelation. How in the world did they get that revelation?
Well, there comes an engagement. The lurkers are planting themselves into the ground. puCK does want to hold this base, as it is one of the bases that he needs in order to continue his economy, but JonSnow doesn't care about that.
Neuroparasite on top of the Tempest. Tempest is going to be attacking the other Tempest. GG gets called, though JonSnow doesn't feel like he's going to win. puCK. Victorious.
What a series. Oh, man. Holy crap. That was great. That was great. Wow.
That was everything we could have asked for.
Yep.
Oh, my god.
What memes are made of.
Well, puCK advances on. Now, if you're a JonSnow fan like I am, do not fret or frown. He's just going to be knocked to the losers bracket. He's still in the qualifier and still has an opportunity. Now, puCK is going to go on to face off versus Masa. And the winner of that series is going to go on to face off versus State, because State, despite the fact that Coma was like this absolute badass and beat Neeb somehow, who's, by the way, again, like the favorite to win the entire qualifier, like was the favorite to come out of the winners bracket. State just goes on in 2-0s.
Well, Neeb got knocked out. Huh? Or rather went to the lower bracket, right? Like Neeb got taken out by Coma, is what you said? Yeah,
he got taken down to the lowest bracket by Coma. Is facing off versus Panda Bear Me right now. And oh man, if we can get into that, I'd love to. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hop to a short commercial break. We'll be back in a little bit. You guys are watching WCS North American Shanghai Qualifiers.